On today's Habitz podcast, we are talking to Andy Hibbert from Real 5 Networking about good habits at networking events. Thanks for joining us, Andy. So what qualifies you to be our guest expert when it comes to networking?
So I'm the founder and MD of Real 5 Networking, which is a business networking group. Started out of Warrington 3 years ago. We've now got 12 franchises across the Northwest. And over the course of my career through my recruitment business, I've done an awful lot of networking over the last 20 years to varying degrees of success. And I suppose those experiences led me to launch Real 5.
So I take it in those 20 years you've seen how not to do networking. So what are some of the bad habits you see from networking events that people might do that attend, or that those events have in place when you go to them?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff out there that I've been to that I thought I'm definitely not going back to that, and that's a combination of the format, the rules and regulations that you have to adhere to. You have to turn up with a certain amount of referrals, or you have to provide certain things for other members. I think a lot of people work for themselves because they don't like being told what to do. Yeah. And whilst there's got to be some guidance around any sort of event or any sort of group, being punished, so to speak, or told off for maybe not delivering a referral for one of your members or one of your colleagues, I find a bit frustrating, and I personally don't like it. I think having them at various poor venues at awful times of the day. I mean, I don't know about yourself, but I'm not the best at 6 a.m, so turning up somewhere at 6:30 for a meeting with 20-30 other business people, it's not my best time of the day. So they're the sort of things that didn't appeal to me about some of the events, where they were, what time they were, and the format. We're all busy, so it's about leveraging your time in the best way possible for me. Yeah. And to turn up and introduce myself again and again and again and give a 2-3 minute pitch on what I do, I just find an absolute waste of time. I've met you, I know what you do. You don't need to tell me that again. We can talk about other things that are a bit more productive. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of time wasting that goes on at these events, and again, you get people that are going in there. Let's call them hunters rather than farmers. People who just want to go in and sell you their water cooler, and that's all they're interested in. I don't want to go to an event and be pitched at. I want to go to an event and talk to people and get to know them. That's
my experience of those types of events. It's just someone turning up and saying, I'm going to talk about me for the next 20 minutes, business card, then they move on to the next person. They don't know anything about you, how you can add value or help them, or help their network. Yeah, is it? And that's typical of what happens. You get a lot of events out there where people they're kind of on like the networking circuit, and they're just going after that low hanging fruit, get in there, join for a few months, see what they can get out of it, and move on to the next one. And whilst that might work for some people, it certainly doesn't work for me, and I certainly wouldn't want people like that in my networking circle, so to speak. So I think you've got to enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff out there that bore you to tears. Yeah. You go to it and you just think, beam me up after 10 minutes of being in there. It's about trying to mix that social element with doing business, which I think we're all grown up enough to do. It's not about just going on the lash with everyone. Yeah. It's about being able to enjoy yourself but make it productive. And I think some of the events out there that I've been to, I walk out of there thinking, what have I actually just got out of that? I've been in there for 2 hours and I'm not walking away with anything new, whether it's a learn, whether it's a piece of business, whether it's a new contact. You just feel like it's passed you by. So what are your good habits you're willing to share for anyone out there that was thinking of going to a networking event so they get the most out of it?
Yeah, so I think the starting point really is making sure you shop around. Choose the group that's right for you. There's lots and lots of networking groups out there, as we all know. Most of them will take guests. Some of them will take guests for free. So go and check it out and see what it's all about. Get a feel for it, because you've got to be comfortable in your surroundings. You've got to feel that you're going to benefit from it, and for me, you've got to enjoy it. So going and checking it out, shop around, have a little look. before you commit to anything would be, I suppose, the starting point.
So where would you say they could check that out? Would you say online, speak to other members that are in there? Where would you?
Yeah, so, there's loads of information online about networking. There's loads of stuff on LinkedIn about networking. And, if you're in business, then you'll probably have colleagues or peers who go to networking events who will be able to take you along as a guest, but there's a wealth of information out there online.
So good habit number one would be do your research on what the group is about.
Absolutely. I think going along as a guest once you've decided what group's right for you, I think it's about when you're there, get involved. Don't stand on the periphery. Don't necessarily wait to be invited in. Most groups are pretty welcoming, and it's about getting involved and not being afraid to say hello and get involved with conversations. I know not everyone's comfortable with that, but I think, be a conversationalist, get involved, and when I say be a conversationalist, don't be a talker. We don't want people pitching at networking events. I wouldn't have said.
Yeah.
So get involved with conversations, be easy to talk to. Don't necessarily be the one there trying to give a sales pitch.
Yeah, so do you think that's too much too soon then? If you're going in there trying to pitch your business to everyone that'll stand anywhere near you, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot. It's more damage than good.
Yeah, I think you've got to get people to understand who you are and what you're about, and just as much you've got to understand who they are and who they're about and build some sort of relationship. I personally hate people trying to sell anything to me at a networking event, and our networking events are very much no sales zones. But it does happen. It happens an awful lot. So I think going in and trying to understand how you can help people or how you can find out more about them makes you much more approachable and much more enjoyable to talk to.
Yeah. And what about, say, contact details and stuff like that? Is business cards a thing of the past, or?
Yeah, a little bit, particularly in the COVID era. I think passing around business cards, that's definitely out the window. So there's loads of different ways you can exchange your contact details, and you've got the app facility on LinkedIn to share your details. You've got a QR code on there now that you can scan. So I think business cards may be a bit of a thing of the past, and technology's taking over, but the principle's still the same. You want to be contactable and you want to be easily contactable.
So obviously you've been to a lot of networking events that didn't quite tick all the boxes for you. So what is it that you specifically do that is different to these events and makes you sort of a good networking event?
I think it's more than just the event. I think it's the principles that we work to and the way that we work. For a start, all of our members sign up to a profit share. So if you pass someone a successful referral, they'll give you a minimum of 5% net profit share on that job, which can range from 50 quid to 50 grand, just depending on the size of the job. So everyone is always getting something back and being rewarded for being proactive.
I suppose that's better leads than some of the leads you get at other networking events where you just have to give up 2 or 3 leads every time you turn up.
Yeah, because there's pressure to refer because you're going to get told off if you don't turn up with a fistful of referrals. When in actual fact, those referrals are probably not very well qualified. Whereas I'm going to pass something to you and I know I'm going to get something from it commercially, financially, then I'm probably going to have qualified it a bit better than just slipping you a piece of paper that really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So I think the referral scheme that we've got makes us unique. I think the way in which we conduct our meetings, it's a lot more sociable, a lot more relaxed. We meet once a month. It's a lunchtime meeting. No one's having to get out of bed at 5 o'clock to be there. We go to nice bars, nice restaurants, and do business, and it's very productive, but in a nice, relaxed, sociable environment where people feel relaxed. We're not asking people to pitch. We're not asking people to sell.
So people watching this, if they wanted to find out more about your networking event, where could they find you?
So they go to real5networking.com, and that's got a full list of all our groups and our events and details about how the network works in general. We do an awful lot of stuff on social media as well and LinkedIn, so you can find out more through that. Thanks
to Andy for sharing with us some of his good networking habits. If you've got any habits that you'd like to share with us on networking, please let us know in the usual places and join us next time on the Habitz podcast.